Alrighty, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I've got the big man, Mr. Ricky Misholas, in the house. Welcome to the show, brother, and thank you so much for your time, man. It's a Saturday afternoon, so I really appreciate you making some time for us.
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you for your time, and thank you for inviting me. And I'm looking forward,
Fantastic, man. Obviously, the talk of the town. You've got a title fight coming up against the man they call the Mountain, Jared van der Aar, coming up EFC 77. Just talk us through how that's all going for you, man. How it's feeling to finally be at a stage where you're being considered for a title fight.
First of all, I want to say thank you to EFC for the opportunity, and thank you to you for this opportunity. I'm looking forward for this fight. I had a crazy camp. What I'm saying crazy because it's like a short notice camp. We signed the fight for May, but something come up that EFC have to change everything. So they changed everything. They brought everything back to March. And then everything was so changed, the time and then the camp and everything changed. But you know what? We're in the business and we're warriors. So sometimes you have to take whatever's, in front of you. So we had a tough camp and hectic camp. So far everything's going well. I've got a brilliant team behind me, and then which is supporting me and everyone. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to step in there and test myself for this big opportunity, which I know that we're keeping that belt here in South Africa.
Fantastic. I was at Sun City after you won your last fight there, and your immediate attention was the belt. Yeah. You had spoken about Champion Dolce. He was the guy at the time. Obviously, things have changed now. The title is, Jared van der Aar was the interim champion. He's been instated as the champ. Obviously, this is something that's been on your mind for a long time. Like, how does it feel now to finally be there, to have that recognition from the fans, from the organization, from the fight world, to say, okay, Ricky Misholas is a contender here. He's the next guy in line to have a crack at this belt.
You know what? I say it again, and then I'm not an EFC matchmaker. I don't want to put some polemic here, whatever. First of all, I wasn't happy to see that Van der Aar is fighting for the title. When fought Port, I wasn't happy, and then I was so surprised because I believe the opportunity these fighters are coming abroad, they're having here in South Africa. I don't think us here in Africa, we can get the same opportunity in overseas. Which the guy came here in South Africa, I think he fought only 3 times. He fought first time with Andrew, he lost. He fought with Moyo, he won. And then he fought straight away for the title, As long as here in South Africa, we've got a big mission for you to become a #1 contender. It's not an easy thing. You can't have 1 fight or 2 fights, 1 win, and then straight in the title contender. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I'm not an EFC matchmaker. There's a reason why EFC put him there to fight for the title. And you know what? I was waiting for my opportunity. I thought maybe after that fight, when I fought in Cape Town with Bezenau, I thought maybe I'm gonna go straight to the title shot. But there were so many things going around, and I was so patient because I'm a patient man. I was so patient, and my time arrived, And my time arrived. When my time arrived, I was like, I'm not gonna leave this opportunity. Let me grab it. So now we've got it, And then I don't think we have to lose it.
Awesome, man. Does that give you extra motivation? You mentioned the internationals coming out almost to your organization, to your continent of Africa. Does that give you extra motivation to prove a point in that fight, to go out a little bit extra harder?
I've got so much motivation for this fight, and then I don't know how to explain to you. My spirit is so high. Just to prove a point, to show them that EFC is not a stepping stone. And then Africa is not a stepping stone for all these international fighters, which they can, okay, let me just fight 2 more, 3 fights in EFC so I can go for Bellator, UFC, or whatever. No. And then that's what I want to prove. I want to show him that, I want to show Van der Aar that he was wrong, what they were thinking. And then I'll show the whole world knows that EFC is not a stepping stone. So they come here, you know what? They're going to be a big surprise for this fight. I'm so motivated, and then I had a camp that, as I said, it was a short notice camp, but the thing is, I pushed myself over the limit, and then we're looking forward for this,
Fantastic, man. Look, it's a massively exciting matchup. I think stylistically it makes a lot of sense. I think for fans watching to see what's happening, the story between yourself, you're a guy who's been campaigning for this moment for a long time, so I think it's a great fight, both if we can say promotionally wise and stylistically as well. But before we carry on with the fight, Ricky, what I really want to get into with you is your story. How did you become this amazing mixed martial artist? Where did it all start for you?
You know what? I started this thing when I was 11 years old. Start training like combat fight. And then I grew up, you know, in an area where it was like a little bit, I don't know how to explain to you, a rough area in Congo. And but this thing didn't like separate me with my study and all those stuff forever. I was busy with my study, and in the meantime I was doing my sport and all those stuff forever. Everything was going well, you know. I had a blessed parent which they give me opportunity to practice to get where I am now. And then when I came here in South Africa, it was a long story. You know, if I want to start saying this now, it's going to be like until tomorrow we're not finished. But the thing is, when I came in South Africa, I was working as a security guard in a company where they're calling standby security. So the owner for the company is named Dino, which I'm sending big shout out to Dino Primekeros, because he's one of the guys who opened the door for me through this business, like fighting business, whatever, even my business as well. So yeah, from there, and then 2003, I had my first fight in South Africa in 2003, you know, and then it was MMA fight, but we were fighting inside the ring, like proud, you know, and then from there I fought Neil Diesel.
Okay.
I was weighing about 70-something kilo. You won't believe. And then I fought Neil Diesel from there, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna stop. Let me just carry on. And we were waiting for the opportunity until EFC come up. Before EFC, and then I had a contract with the XFC. With Honey Williams and Victor, but things didn't work according to the plan, and then I didn't have a chance to fight there. And then when EFC come up, one day I had the invitation to go and watch EFC. I went to watch EFC, was interesting, was like, this is what I want to do. And then one day they will call me a champion in this organization. And then the opportunity come up, and then Graham called me up, and then I went to sign the contract. Then we carried on doing it, you know? Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. This is a question I've thought about for a long time, because I have a very small understanding of how the fighting is split up in the Congo.
Yeah.
Like a guy explained to me once, there's like almost 4 corners. There's judo, boxing, wrestling, and whatever else. Obviously here in South Africa, we see a lot of Congolese guys that are working as security and bouncers, and fighting seems to come quite naturally to the Congolese. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? What is bringing... the other side of the story, someone said to me, is like there's a pile of guys back home that saw a champion win champion Dalcho win the belt, and they were like, you know what, I actually beat him when he was here in the Congo. I'm also going to join the EFC. So it's quite this like network of guys coming through that are finding themselves in MMA, and it seems like to the Congolese people that fighting comes quite natural. Let me not say fighting, combat sports comes quite natural. Could you explain on how that works?
You know, in Congo we've got, I don't know how to explain to you, we are so blessed to have number of like fighters and then warriors in Congo. There's each corner in Congo where you can drive or walk without see a fighter, without see like a club which they're just producing fighters. But the thing is, we don't have opportunity like here in South Africa. You know, we don't have like infrastructure, like proper like gyms and all those stuff forever, like here in South Africa. So I won't be surprised to see someone coming from Congo here in South Africa, maybe after 1 year, start imagine himself like doing great, because the opportunities seeing here in South Africa, like gyms, and then he's got time, he's got nice place to sleep, nice food to eat, and then his money is so free, fresh. So I'm not so surprised, you know, because you can check the story for Dashan, and you can check the story for Gunta, all those guys, whatever, all those Congolese guys. I believe they've been in EFC after me. They haven't been in EFC for long, but check what they produce, you know. So it's something that we are born on it. But the thing is, we don't have opportunity. There's no good people that can look after us like here in South Africa, that we be giving that opportunity, like to train proper, to have nice gym, to have a nice organization like EFC, because in Congo we don't have any like MMA organization or whatever. There's one which is coming up, which they're trying to build up, but if I can explain to you how they compete, you won't believe it. They're competing like some people, they're doing BJJ in South Africa. Sure. Just they put the mat down there, not even a ring, not even a cage. They're just banging each other like that, you know, which is like they're trying to help each other. They're trying to build something up, but the government, or not even the government, but the people in Congo, they're not having that opportunity like here in South Africa. So, as I say, I've got some people here in Congo also, that in Congo, which they beat me up as well, you know, in the streets, in the training, whatever, but in the competition of judo, all those stuff, whatever. But I don't say today, if they can come here, see me the way I'm doing here, they'll be so surprised. They'll say, "No, I beat this guy in Congo." But here's another story, you know. Here we're doing something else, so it's totally different. But as I say, you know, if in Congo we can have the same opportunity like here in South Africa, I'm telling you the truth, it's going to be something else.
Do you think that, obviously you mentioned Gunther, yourself, who's about to have a title shot, champion Dalcher, who's now going to be at the pinnacle at the UFC. Quite some time ago, Dana White said that the next hotbed for MMA will be Africa, and I think we're slowly starting to arrive there now. I think we're so close to having a UFC event here in Africa. Do you think the Congo is this massive breeding ground for MMA potential? Do you think there's so many more guys like yourself that just haven't had that next step in opportunity to get access to the promotions and the training, or do you think it's just guys that are just driven like yourself?
Definitely, there's so many. There are so many better than Ricky, better than Gunther, better than Dasha, better than Ige Kabesa. I don't know how to explain to you. There are so many of them. The only thing I can say that we don't have that opportunity. Congo is not South Africa. We're all in Africa, but the thing is, I think this country is blessed. It's blessed to have what they got here in South Africa. Sometimes I see people that, I'm not going on the political route, but the thing is, sometimes I see what people here in South Africa, they're complaining for some stuff, which is like, I go crazy myself. And I sometimes ask myself questions, is these people that you can just throw them in Congo maybe for 2 days? If you just put them in Congo for 2 days or even 1 hour, I think they will come back in South Africa, changing their mind, changing the way of thinking things, the way of taking things, like this thing of apartheid, blah, 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 racism, or whatever. I think it's going to finish in 1 day, And as I said, there's so many good fighters compared to me in Congo. There's so many good fighters compared to Gunther, to Dasha, to all those Congolese guys are fighting here in South Africa. But the thing is, who's going to help them out to come up, Who's going to help them up? So I wish maybe EFC one day they can start having opportunity to start roaming around here in Africa, in the continent, seeing where they can bring some like new talent, new breeding in organization. It's going to be a good thing, The way I'm saying, like, if you can see the way UFC doing it, overseas, like, they go all around in the world.
Sure.
They got every fighter around the world. So they know a way to pick up this and that. So I think EFC, they can do the same. If they can do the same and maybe one day just to go to Congo and see number of people, number of fighters, number of good fighters in Congo, I don't know how to explain to you. It's going to be something else.
Yeah, fantastic, man. It's it's one of those things because you see so much like it's raw talent. You know what I mean? That's just begging for a bit of guidance and a bit of a push. We see so many guys coming through the ranks. So many guys that have so much potential. Even if you look like a guy like Anisette, who's got so much potential, but I just think like he I don't know if he'll ever be able to step over into that next level of competition, whether it's a thing of mindset or, because he has all the skills.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And he has all the potential. It comes down to, there's probably 100 more guys like him that are just looking for that step over in competition or guidance, or like, you're a guy who's had access to some of the best coaching in Africa, and we could argue around the world. So is that what you're saying? Like there's just that little extra that's missing,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Just that little bit of opportunity that's
little opportunity. And some people, let's say in Congo, if we can have some, I know that in Congo there's so many people that have got money. There's people that have got money, I don't know how to explain to you, big money. But there's no one who's taking chances, willing to take chances like, okay, listen here, I want to have something like EFC and in EFC and in Congo. Let me buy this cage, let me promote the business, let me get best fighter in the country, let me put them there, let me roam around here in Africa, get some good fighters. There's no one is willing to put like that effort or to take the chances, That's the way I'm trying to say. And there's very good coaches, but you have to be honest, those coaching in Congo, MMA is not like here in South Africa. South Africa MMA is like way forward compared to Congo, And South Africa, Congo MMA, they're trying to learn from what's happening here in South Africa. What as we're doing here, and then they're trying to learn from there. They are still way back, It's like they're still amateur. But the thing is, if they can give them opportunity, that's what I'm talking about,
Fantastic, man. I can see, obviously, it's a subject that you're very passionate about. So, with that in mind, with the route you've taken, it's been a long road to get here. I'm sure there's a long part of this journey that nobody besides yourself can ever understand on the sacrifices you've had to make, the long roads you've had to walk alone. How does it feel now to finally be at this point, and what does it mean to you to get a belt in the EFC, to eclipse that championship, to say, look, I've come all this way here. You know, I'm sure there were people along the road who probably thought you were quite crazy, but here you are. You know, at this final hurdle. What will it mean to you to pick up that belt for yourself, your family, the journey you've been through, and the people of the Congo?
Wow, you know, I don't know how to explain to you. You know, sometimes I feel like having tears in my eye because this is like a long story, long road to come. I mean, where I am right now is like, you know, when I had the opportunity, when EFC phoned me, say, okay, they want you to come and sign they didn't even tell me that you're signing the contract for the fight. They say, okay, we need you to come in the office to come and renew, like to check what your contract is all about, and then see for the upcoming fight, whatever. When I get there and then they put the contract on the table saying that you're fighting for the title, you know what? I had a good bumps in my body. You know, I was shocked. I was like boiling myself. You know, I know that I was on that level already to fight for the title, but the thing is, I wasn't expecting that news. That news. And then, you know what? This thing I have to dedicate to my family, especially my wife and my kids, you know, because they're always there, you know. From day one, they're my number one supporter. So it's like this belt, I'm going to dedicate to them. And the second thing is this belt is I'm going to dedicate to Africa because it's like we're bringing back, you know, like we're bringing back pride in Africa because that belt been taken away from Africa continent to America. So we need to bring it back. That's always saying that Vandera is not fighting Ricky Misholas. He's fighting the whole continent. You know, he's fighting the whole continent. I believe it's gonna be a huge thing. You know, it's gonna be a huge thing. And then the thing also to my team and my teammate, you know, from people that they've been from day one when I've been doing this, and you know, I don't know how to explain to them. This is gonna be like I'm dedicating the belt to them. You know, because I've got so many plans after this. I'm planning not just to stay to stack there in heavyweight division. So I want to take this heavyweight division and I'm going down to light heavyweight division. You know, I want to grab that thing also. I want to test that light heavyweight division and see what's going to coming up. You know, what's coming up, and then we take it from there.
Fantastic, man. So, and possibly another 2-division champion on
straight away.
Straight away. That's fantastic.
Away.
So, just on that, what do you walk around at, Ricky? If you're considering the cut after this,
you know what? I'm easy to cut my weight, very easy because when I started this camp, like for this fight, for the total fight, I started with 117.
Okay.
As I'm talking to you now, I'm 109.
Okay.
You can't believe 109, and then I know myself is like it's not a stress. It's not about stress. I think it's the way of pushing this training. So a week before the fight, it's gonna be easy for me to pick up my weights because I'll be start slowing down, and then I'm gonna have time like to rest more, and then my training camp because like every day you're training twice a day, you know, twice a day from Monday to Saturday. So it's like more of story. So I think from a week before the fight, I'll start slowing down and I'll start picking up my weight. So I believe on the fight night, I'll be easy 114. 113 whatever, and I don't like to be heavy on the ring. I like to be light so I can have more time to move. I don't want to be just heavyweight because heavyweight is walking days. Like no. I want to be a super like I don't explain to you like light on my feet, and then be able to move compared to my opponent because I always feel comfortable when I'm moving more than my opponent.
Do you see a section in Jared van der Raar's game? Obviously, you don't have to say what it is, but do you see holes in his game that you will exploit?
Plenty. I had the time to watch his fight. I had the time to watch most of his fighting overseas. Those one he won, and the one that he lost. And I check him fighting in South Africa as well. You know, he's not a bad fighter, and then I'm not taking anything from him. But the thing is, we had a camp which we be training according to the win. So we be training to win this fight. We're not training like to just go and fight. No, we're training to win the fight. So if someone have to come back up to me to ask me for the game plan is only one. We've got the one game plan to win the fight. And then at the end of the fight, that's going to be my hand's going to be raised. That's all I see. And then he's a tough dude, you know. He's a tough dude because he can take a punch and he can kick hard and he's heavy. And then he's got wrestling background and all those stuff for it. But you have to know one thing. Come 16th of March, it's going to be apocalypse against him. Yeah.
Fantastic, man. I think that's a great note to end there, Ricky. I think that's quite a bone-chilling message to send across to the fans and to Mr. van der Raar. But you know, it's like guys like you always have the most inspiring stories. Like I know we've only covered a small bit. I'm sure there's so much more to the story of the apocalypse and the journey you've taken to be here. I know I've been watching closely, especially the last 5 sort of fights where this title contention has kind of been spoken about, and your name's been thrown in the mix. I think you've had to take a couple of hard fights. The last two were the young lions, where you were tested, where everyone was trying to kind of see, can you survive the young lions still? And I think you survived those with shining colours, and I think it's such a great matchup at the moment in the heavyweight division, and it's opened up nicely, and I think it's going to be a massive one for the fans.
And there's only one thing I want to tell to the fan, to EFC fan, especially the African continent. I don't know, you guys have to start learning how to support your fighters.
Yeah, 100%.
I have to be honest with you. They have to learn how to start supporting African fighters, especially those when they're fighting for for EFC Yen Africa, because every time there's a fighter who's coming overseas, or every time there's a fighter who's leaving Africa, is leaving EFC to go and fight for overseas tournament, whatever, organization. I don't see local fans, they give them opportunity. The only thing they say, he's gonna get beaten up, he's gonna lose. No one is giving him a chance.
It's so true.
And then I'm so surprised that people are coming from overseas, here in Africa, and I'm so surprised to see our local fan, they're supporting them more than us. I don't know what make them show, or what make them believe that those guys, they are superstar compared to us here in Africa.
Yeah, it's a grave misconception. And
I believe when Domage went to UFC, I believe few people that will give him a chance.
Yeah.
That Domage is gonna do well, and some people say now they're gonna smash him. They smash him round one, but after Domage did what he had to do, now everyone was quiet. Everyone's quiet, and then it's not only them, Domage. So many people. Even that when UFC signed Dasha, I believe there's so few people that are giving Dasha a chance. Like Dasha's gonna do well, but guys, come on. Why don't you give Dasha some advice which can make him look better in overseas than go and lose?
100%, man.
I check on Facebook, people are like, it's gonna be a walkover for for Vandera against Ricky Misholas. I don't know if Vandera is fighting his son, or he's fighting his grandfather, or he's fighting his wife. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know if I was just gonna stand in that ring and then that cage, Vandera just come and murder me and finish, go home. And then let me give one example here. I fought Cyril Oscar. I believe you know him. He's one of the EFC heavyweight champ. I was the first one to test him in South Africa when he came to Africa. And then before I test that Cyril, everyone was like, this guy got crazy ground games. He's the best of ever. He's gonna smash Ricky in round one. I believe watch that fight. Went all 3 rounds, and it was like a war.
Yeah,
it was a war, and then Cyril won on the points. And then Cyril went against I think Potts.
Yeah, Potts.
I think it was round 1, and then it was another story. The fight was over. When Cyril was going against Andrew, I was so surprised to see the comments and to see the video of Andrew's coach. He was saying like, if Cyril couldn't knock Ricky out, if Cyril couldn't finish Ricky out in round 1, what Andrew's gonna do to him? I don't know if they were saying that Ricky is a stepping stone for everyone. And I was so surprised, I just kept quiet. And then you know what happened in the fight? Yeah. It was like 40 seconds something, whatever, first round, and the fight was over. You know what? Sometimes we have to give ourselves like opportunity. That's what I'm seeing on soccer. Like each every sport, you see a local guy is fighting overseas guy, people are giving more opportunity and then more, like chance in the guy who's coming support, overseas. Yeah, they're giving support compared to your local guy.
Sure.
DJ I believe DJ Krell.
Yeah.
He just fought for a world title. And then I believe no one couldn't believe that DJ was going to win that world title.
It's true.
But now he's a world title. He's a world champ.
You know what I call it? It's like the Hollywood effect. You know what I mean? Like people think just because someone is coming from USA doesn't mean that they're a better mixed martial artist. And I think South African fans, obviously we're quite young in the sport. There's this big misconception that we cannot compete with overseas, and I think that's a massive mistake a lot of fans make. It's a lot of the fans who we call them casual fans, guys who just tune in for a big fight or whatever. They don't give local guys a chance. They don't think that we have the skills to compete with the overseas level, which is a big misconception. It's a massive mistake, because we have some of the greatest MMA fighters here. Like you said about the Congo, the only difference here is that no one really knows that yet. We haven't given, we in South Africa haven't had that opportunity to show the world what we're capable of. But I think that's all changing now, and you can almost like feel it in the air, like African MMA is on the rise, And I think obviously Don Madge did definitely spark that movement, because like you say, so many people counted him out, and like you say, you're being counted out. Champion Dolce is being counted out. I mean, Champion, and I said it to his coach online, I counted him out against Andrew Fanzel on the fact that the 20 kilos was going to be such a massive role. And I told him on the show, I said to him 100%, I counted him out then. I'll never make that mistake again, because I think right then in that moment, he proved so much to everybody that 20 kilos really means nothing. You know what I mean? It's the heart, it's the skill, it's the hard work, it's all of that goes in. And I think you make a good point there on how fickle the fans can be with support. And I think let's look in your case, for example, don't look past Ricky Misholas based on the fact that he's fighting an American. I think that's a massive mistake to make. I think I saw a few comments when the fight was announced, like, how does Ricky find a title shot? And almost, you like sit in your chair laughing, like, have you watched this sport? You know what I mean? Like, Ricky has been around, you know what I mean? Ricky has earned this stripe. I think you lost, one in the last 5 against Vessel Mostert. You know, any given night, it could have been a different way. That's how the sport goes, you know what I mean? They've thrown the young lions who, the promotion probably thought, you know what, I don't know if Ricky can get past these young lions and dispatch them comfortably, you know what I mean? And I think in those two were the tests where everyone had to have a look at where and who Ricky Misholas really is. And I think it was 2 TKOs at the last 2 fights in a row. And I think there we said, okay, listen, Ricky's the real deal. We have to start throwing his name amongst the title shot. And just because it's now a title shot against the American doesn't mean that it's over. I think there's a lot to this fight, you know what I mean? And if you ask me now, and I'll tell you straight to your face, my prediction on that fight, 100%. I can't give you a prediction. I can't say, oh no, Jared Van Der Aar, you know, he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He's going to take Ricky down and sub him. I don't believe that to be true. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to go. I think it's a massively exciting matchup, and I think
I just
if you're getting counted out, I think you should just tell those people.
Yeah, you know, I just want to say something. I thought, how do you call it? I think Tabani. That Tabani guy, I don't know how to explain to you. His Kyokushin is something else. His stand-up
he's a monster, man.
He's a monster.
He's a monster.
And then, why people didn't give him more chance compared with what I was to it? Because he's Kyokushin. So MMA is not only about the BJJ. MMA is not only about boxing or whatever. That's why they say MMA, mixed martial art. So everything that is all about fight is involved there. So I don't know. I've been watching, what's his name, Jared? And then I have to be honest with you. He's got ground game, but I never seen like using that ground game. Maybe with my fight, he's gonna try to use it. But the thing is, I've got coaches which they had time like studying and then checking what his Vandera is all about, and then I believe people will be surprised. People will be surprised.
Absolutely.
And then my question is like, what's gonna happen if they see Vandera sleeping down?
What are they gonna say?
What they gonna say? What they gonna come back again? They will say what? It's all about like what? Is a setup or something? Nah.
No, it's true, man. Anyway, Ricky, let's do this. Last message for Jared Van Der Aar. That was a nice one for the fans. And what would your last message be for Jared Van Der Aar?
You know what? I don't have a big mouth right now, and then I think it's gonna be a very good fight. I believe he's ready. And then to me, in my eyes, I don't see him as a champ yet. You know, you can only be called a champ once you defend your title. So he's going to defend that title, and then from there we'll see if he's a real champ. And I believe Van Der Aar is ready because I'm ready for the fight, and then I'll be more than ready come a fight night. We got 2 weeks to go, and I wish him all the best in South Africa, and then I believe he's going to go back in the package. You know?
Fantastic, man. Again, Ricky, thank you so much for your time, man. I'm really, I can't express this enough. It's, you know, everyone loves to see the heavyweights throw down. It's always exciting, and especially 2 guys that are massively technical, but 2 guys with massively good boxing. You know, we spoke about the ground game. I don't think guys have seen your ground game enough, and I think it's underestimated. And I think there's a bunch of people that think you just do boxing all day. So it'll be nice to see all of that unveiled. You know, which is always the funny thing about MMA.
But I don't know if people they can double check my fight career, because since I've been fighting, he's the only guy that submit me to a sport.
Sure.
Only been submitted from pot. And then I think that submission was like, I don't know how to explain to you, because, you know, when you're having a game, like you got different coaches in the corner, and then each coach is going game plan.
Sure.
And then sometimes you're confused, you don't know what to do. This one say, no, stand up. This one say, no, okay, go in the ground. You know, and then since then, I learned a lot from that fight, and I learned a lot from that fight. And then, you know what, I've been learning a lot from each fight that I've been losing. And then each fight that I'm winning, I always learn a lot also from that fight. So there's nothing that passed by or whatever. So everything that goes my way, I was like, okay, I can grab this opportunity. I can make a mistake for this fight. Next one coming, let me sort it out. You know, I'm not worried at all for Jonathan to take me ground. You know, to take me in the ground. I'm not worried at all because I found Cyril was one of the best. His ground game is amazing, but the guy couldn't submit me. You know, he was on top for ground and pound, but he couldn't have a chance to submit. So I'm not worried at all for ground game. You know, whatever the fight's gonna take us, we go.
100%, man.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, brother. I wish you nothing but the best. You know, I'm really excited to see you finally get that shot. I feel you 100% deserve. I think it's been a long time coming. Fruits for the rewards, you know, for all the hard work. And it's nice to see a fellow African getting that shot at the title, man. It's massively exciting, and it's going to be a great matchup. EFC 77, Ricky Misholas versus Jared Van der Aar. Definitely don't want to miss this one, man. And thank you again so much for your time, brother.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me, and then I'll see you guys soon.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. And that's it. And we're out, and we'll catch you soon. Ciao.
Bye.